Hi, I'm here to tell tattoo artists things that I've learned in getting tattoos for over a decade. I've got some extremely detailed, beautiful work all over my body, and I've got some simple tattoos like the one on my chest, because I wanted to keep it a sexual piece, and keep it something that wasn't a whole lot to look at when I'm in those type of moments. So I'm here to be honest, I'm here to be open, I'm here to talk about things that I have learned. So first of all, to get this out of the way for anybody listening, don't get ephemeral tattoos. Even though the big shop closed down, people are still trying to do them. There's no idea out there of how long they actually could last, will last, and if you're trying to see what you think of a tattoo, you don't want something that looks bad within a couple of weeks on your body, because you're going to have a bad experience 10 out of 10 times, and you're not going to want it, and that's a guarantee. So if you want to guarantee you won't get tattoos, that's the way to go. Anyway, so I have gotten tattooed in 39 different states, which is incredible, and I'm so lucky to have done that. And I used to want to get little pieces by all these different people, some big pieces, and when you go in and you're getting a piece from a person and you know that somebody isn't likely going to be your regular, as the client and as an artist, you keep that kind of professional. It's good to keep a good conversation going. I get nervous because of having some injuries in my past. I always sit well for tattoos, but I get nervous in some spots with some of the injuries I've had, so I need someone to talk to me. You can't just pop your headphones in and not listen. You've got to, I'm not going to chat your ear off and tell you how to do a micromanage you, but you've got to be semi-workable. I think that if a tattoo artist is telling you that the thing you're doing is too small, you've got to listen to them. Yeah, you don't need a gigantic, but little detail fades, letters blur together, outline helps hold things in a lot of times. I mean, you gotta listen to them. They're the professional, but do research. Make sure you are talking to a professional. Another thing that I've noticed is I have one tattoo I consider non-professionally done. The person that did it had more than 2 decades of tattooing experience and worked in a shop almost his whole life. However, he started working out of his house, and I still went to him once, and he did a terrible job on it. And it just shows you that even though the person had done a lot, that just because they have experience and are amazing, that if something's going on and they're willing to let their standards kind of drop, you might want to watch out for that. Just because they did a bunch of beautiful work on you before doesn't mean they're going to keep up that standard. If they're willing to let safety hazards go down and stuff like that, keep that in mind. Other things to watch out for are you've really got to be careful about offending people. This goes to more the artists. For me, if I am, my best friend personally is, his name's Joe. He owns Aggressive Contrast it's in Milwaukee. It's off of Howard and Howell, and he's amazing. He can do any type of tattoo work. He stayed with a tattoo company for a long time and eventually bought the location out and was loyal to them, even though the other artists there, except for the owner, were not up to par with his ability. He's a loyal, wonderful friend in person. I've known him for, 16 years. If you're going to be loyally dedicated to the lifestyle of getting tattoos, and I'm not talking you've known someone for 15 years, but you come and you get a little tiny thing on your wrist every 2 years. I'm talking you're in there, you're in that seat, you're putting in hours. You need to have kind of a mutual respect for the art, for the person, for the dedication that this person's putting in. You need to have that relationship in a sense with them, and it needs to be understood. And if I don't have that connection, for me at least, in conversation with somebody, I don't have that piece of it. I don't feel like this is somebody, at this point in my life, I don't feel like this is somebody that I could see myself being friends with, talking to, that's humble enough to respect me and be somebody that, I'm not saying we have to hang out and go get drinks and no, but if this isn't somebody that would if this isn't somebody that I could consider a friend, that might consider whatever it may be, might consider talking to me, might consider anything on a professional level, then I'm not going to trust them to cover some of these scars that are from really bad situations in life, like a SA or being brutalized. So be friendly to the people that you can see are going to be dedicating a lot of time. You don't have to be best friends with me. You don't have to even be friends, but you can't be every time I'm just a paycheck, every time I'm just this acquaintance that means nothing. Like, there has to be a level of respect. We have to be able to communicate good, and like I said, maybe even just able to have a conversation here and there outside of it being about tattoos, outside of a tattoo appointment. Maybe have a phone call once in a while type of thing. For me, if it's someone I'm going to stick with for 15 years like I did with my friend, because that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of trust, a lot of work. That's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. It's important. It's important if you're going to have somebody give a wage to you just about, and respect your art and choose to not go all over and travel and take other people and see you on a dedicated basis, that you have some sort of relationship with them in a sense. My tattoo artist, he lets me basically he gives me the best deals out of anybody who ever is around by far. So if I'm coming to you outside of him, it's because I love your art and because I respect you, or because you're learning, I'm giving you a chance. And so after this much effort, you deserve that back in a sense. I met Jimmy and Jake from, I think it's called Great Northern Tattoo. It could just be Northern Tattoo. It's in Wisconsin as well. It's by like the Wind Lake area, and they are both amazing as well, and I trust both of them as well. We're not to the point where I would say, or we talked over one day, so I wouldn't say by any means we're friends or even friendly beyond. We're friendly, but we're not friendly beyond the appointment. But again, they spoke with me, they had an intellectual conversation, they made me feel comfortable, they listened. It was one of those things where I am happy with everything about them. And for me to be willing to talk with them, to be there with them, it shows the respect I have for Jake's work, the interest I have in Jimmy learning, and it needs to be reciprocated. And it was. And they went above and beyond, and I think that anyone looking for beautiful work should check out Joseph Vargas at Aggressive Contrast, and they should check out Jake and Jimmy as well at Great Northern. All of these gentlemen are respectful, amazing, wonderful, intelligent, respectful men. Another thing I wanted to get to was relationships going outside of it. I think there's nothing wrong with ending up in a relationship with your tattoo artist. I've messed around with a tattoo artist out of all the many, many ones I've worked with. I've had a relationship with one and messed around with one, and then that's it. And there's been dozens of people to do tattoo work on me just by how much I've traveled alone. It's not a thing where we're hooking up with everybody. However, I think if you really like someone, you're into them, it's as long as you can see that's being reciprocated, and it's an adult who's consenting to this and talking openly. Obviously, we're adults. I think that's okay. We're not in a doctor's office. We're not, we're not in a horrible situation. We're in a clear-cut, open environment. However, that's something you shouldn't push immediately. I think that it's something that after you get to know somebody, I don't think that's a line that's terrible to cross. However, I also don't think you should use it as a spot to pick people up. So it's up to you. Anyways, I hope you all have a beautiful day.